So let's get started with cotton textile industry in India. In India, this textile industry occupies a unique position, a special position. Why? Because the textile industry has a contribution which is significant, which means a large proportion of textiles is contributed towards industrial production, which means that total industrial production, like there are many kind of industries, the rubber industry, jute industry, sugar industry, oil industry, petroleum industry. Out of all those industrial production, the textile industry occupies 14%. So that is why it is quite a significant contribution. That is why it is holding a unique position. Not only that, it generates employment to 35 million people. That means 350 lakh million people, which means that we are providing employment also to many people in the country, many people in the country. When the production will be more, naturally, then the export will also be more. So we are exporting it and we are earning a huge foreign exchange, which contributes to 24.6% of the total foreign exchange earning of the country. And then naturally, its contribution towards the GDP is also going to be more, and which is 4%. And it is the only industry which is self-reliant and complete in its value chain, which means from the fiber to the garment. Each process is done within the country. When each process is done within the country, it means that the country has good amount of machinery, technique, people, output is more. So therefore, we are able to do that from the farm to the factory, everything is done within a country, and that is the reason why textile industry occupies a special position in India. Talking about value addition in textile industry, just now I told that this is the industry which is self-reliant. Okay, so from the raw fiber, here see children, two columns are given, one is pink and one is the blue one. The above one tells us the process and the below gives us the product. So raw fiber is the shredded fiber, the shredded cotton. Yarn means thread, cloth means fabric, fabric means cloth, and garments means the stitched ready-made cloth which is ready to wear. From raw fiber, fiber is produced, and from that fiber, when it goes for spinning, we get thread, yarn, and that yarn is again woven or knitted so that we get a fabric, cloth. And when we get the cloth or the fabric, it goes for dyeing, finishing, printing, other processing, and then it is been garment is manufactured, and then that garment goes into the hand of the customer. But sometimes what happen, a country is not good enough in technical thing. Okay, the machinery is not good or the people's output is not good. So what happens, they will produce yarn or they will produce fabric, and then in middle of this, any of the stages, they sell the product to the other countries. So in that case, all the profit margin that the country would have or the employment that the country would have generated goes at a toss. So this is called that a developed country is the one which converts its raw material to its finished product. Complete value chain is there. This is the value chain because at each step value is added to a particular product. Raw fiber is very cheap, then a little more valuable is the thread, then a lot of value is added when it becomes a fabric, and then when it becomes a garment, the value just doubled. Suppose 85 rupees kilo the fiber is being sold, but by the time the garment is made, the price shoots up to 800 to 1000 rupees per kilos. Each garment is not counted, it is counted in weight, because we are counting fiber also in weight, so we will count garment also in weight. So this way value is added in each stage. Not only value is added, but each stage employment is also generated. Talking about spinning, see how the raw fiber is converted into thread, into yarn, and that yarn goes for two processes. This is knitting and then this is weaving. See the procedure of knitting and weaving. This is what is knitting. With knitting, whatever cloth we get, that is stretchable cloth. Okay. And when weaving is taken place, that cloth is not stretchable, and this is with the help of a hand loom. This loom is the place where the threads get woven into a fabric. And here this is hand loom, a person is working with a hand in this loom, whereas this is a power loom. This has been run by electricity. Now let us talk about the history of Indian textile industry. In ancient times, cotton textile was produced by hand spinning. You have seen Gandhiji's charkha, that how he used to spin thread with his charkha, and then the khadi is being woven through handloom weaving techniques. You can see in these two pictures. But after that, when Britishers came to India, they have colonized us, and during that time 2 world wars were fought in Europe. And when the world wars were fought, then the British people, they were not able to supply the cloth because other industries in the country were not running properly because everybody was busy with the war, and therefore the need of the cloth increased in the United Kingdom market. In order to supply that, Europeans or the Britishers, they have started developing cotton textile industry in India. During that time, industry was concentrated in Gujarat and Maharashtra because these two states were the states where most of the cotton was produced, and because these were the cotton producing areas, therefore this was the cotton growing belt, and here there was a port facility also so that they can export the products to the European countries. Labor was also cheap over there. The climate was also conducive, moist climate, and that is why the industries were localized in the cotton growing areas during that time. When we say that textile industry provides employment to 35 million people directly, we mean that people are employed in not only agriculture, because cotton is grown in fields. So all the farmers which are involved in growing cotton, they get employment, they get their work. Then it provides employment to people, those who are cotton ball pluckers, those who pluck the cotton ball from the farms, and then those who take out the seeds from within those cotton balls, which is called the process of ginning. Then the people who are involved in spinning the cotton into thread, then those who are involved in weaving or knitting, converting it into fabric, then those which are involved in dyeing the cloth, designing and printing the cloth, those who are involved in tailoring, then those who are involved in packaging, not only packaging but also making packing materials, then all those industries which are involved in chemicals and dyes and the people working over there, then people involved in engineering works, means all the machines which are there in that factory, those machines are being made by engineers, they have been servicing is done by them, care is taken by them. So all those people involved in engineering works. So this way this industry provides employment to millions and millions of people in India. During the time when Britishers started this industry in India, during that time the spinning was centralized. In fact, the whole industry was centralized. Okay, the whole cotton textile industry was set up in areas where the cotton is produced. But later on it has been found that spinning is centralized, but now weaving is highly decentralized, which means that the place where cotton is grown, in those areas only spinning is done. Till spinning procedure the industries are doing the production, but later on weaving and then dyeing and printing and then their embroidering etc. were done in different places in the country. Why this is so? Okay, this is because traditional skills need to be incorporated, because if one type of a cloth is made in one area only, or 2 areas or 3 areas or say 5 areas, we will get only 5 different kind of designs of the peoples, because designing depends upon the people's mindset, their tradition, their skills, and then therefore if we will give these threads to different parts of the country, if you give it to Orissa, if you give it to Bengal, if you give it to Uttar Pradesh or Banaras, or if you give it to Coimbatore, or you will give it to Punjab, Haryana side, different people have different styles. So, they will incorporate different designs in that cloth, and we will get a huge variety, and that is the reason that it is highly decentralized. We give the thread to these people and ask them to make cloth in their own homes, because this is usually a cottage industry in India. Okay. So, embroidery with silk and zari, etc. Therefore, weaving is highly decentralized. Okay. So, that is the reason you have understood, hope, that spinning is centralized, means spinning means making of the thread is done in areas where the cotton is grown, but after the thread is produced, the thread is being sent to different parts of the country, that is decentralized. Therefore, weaving is decentralized, so that the cloth is being woven out of that. Why? Because to incorporate traditional skills, designs in weaving, embroidery in silk and zari. So, to have variety, this means to have a variety in the cloth, then only it will be more, we will get more customers to it, it will be more saleable. Then one more question comes in the exam, that why hand spun khadi provides large scale employment? It's simple, that because it is done by hand, it is a slow procedure, and therefore, the more people get employment. Okay. It generates employment for weavers in their homes as cottage industry. A person may be not very rich, so he can have 1 or 2 looms at home. Okay, 2 members working on it. A person have a little more money, he can have more looms at home. So, it depends upon the person. So, it is convenient for people to work from home as cottage industry and make the cloth, weave the cloth or weave khadi. That is the reason why it generates more employment. And in India, textile is produced in 3 sectors: mill sector, power looms and handlooms. Mill sector, children, is the area where the complete production takes place in one factory. Okay, from the fiber till the fabric, not the garment, till the fabric is produced in one area, in one complex, that is mill sector. Power looms means, this is power loom and handloom is basically the weaving and the knitting sector. Power looms means the loom, loom is the instrument on which the cloth is made, that you have seen in this previous slides, which is run by power, which is run by electricity is power loom, and the loom which is run by hand, it is hand loom. So, that is the difference between mill sector, power loom and hand loom. Now, when you understand what is the difference between the power loom and the mill sector loomage, it's easy to answer this, that why is it important for a country to keep the mill sector loomage lower than power looms and hand looms. It is important for our country to keep the mill sector loomage. Mill sector, where everything is done in one compound, like from fiber to fabric, all spinning, weaving, processing, everything is done, is lower than power loom and hand loom. Why? Because mill sector can be established in areas where cotton is grown. So, this means if we will encourage mill sector, this means that we are going to encourage people living in those areas only where cotton is produced. But if we will encourage power loom and hand loom, this means that we are promoting decentralization. We are sending the thread to different part of the country, and we are giving employment to people in different parts of the country in rural areas. And this needs less investment also from the side of the people. As I said, they can have 1 loom, they can have 2 loom at their home. It is convenient for them because they are working from home. The people are coming to their homes, they are giving them the material, they are asking them to embroidery, they are asking them to do what kind of a designing, they are doing it, and then they are The people are coming to their homes and collecting the finished material, the woven fabric. So, this way it is important to generate more employment, and then only we have to encourage power loom and handloom and not the mill sector loomage. Hey, but you know what? Whatever highly we speak about, we find that there are some drawbacks of each industry, isn't it? So, what are the drawbacks of the textile industry in India? What is the fact, that we have world class spindles where thread is made, and India is exporting that yarn, that thread, that is 1/4 of the total world trade. We are such a large exporter of thread, of yarn in the world. India has the second largest capacity of spindles in the world after China. So, when our thread quality is so good that it is liked by the people all over the world, then what is the problem? Our trade in garment is just 4%. That's not acceptable. Why is it so? So, here comes the drawback. What is the drawback? The drawback is that because our spinning sector receives a lot of attention since mid-80s, spinning sector has received a lot of attention since mid-80s, and hence they are competitive and are able to use all the good quality of cotton that we produce in Indian, which is produced by Indian farmers. But our weaving, knitting and processing units are not competitive. Why? Because they are not able to use the high quality yarn produced in the country. The thread that we are producing is of a very high quality, and their machines and all are not competitive enough. They need to be serviced, they need to be changed, they need to be technically upgraded. Power supply is not there, output of the labor is not there. There are many problems. The quality of the fabric produced is less, and hence whatever quality of the fabric they are producing, the quality is also low and the quantity is also less, which is able to cater to the demand of the local people only. Okay. So, local people demand we are only able to meet. We are not able to meet the export demand of the foreign countries when we talk about the fabric or the garment. Why is it important for us to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in large quantities? It's obvious from the explanation done before that if we will export yarn which is thread, it will be of very low cost. But if we will export a fabric after it is woven into a fabric, then naturally the price will be higher. The higher the price, the higher the amount of profit, and hence it is important for us to improve our weaving sector so that we are able to weave cloth which is of a high quality, which is having a great demand in the foreign market. Yarn is sold at 85 rupees per kg, whereas garment is sold at 800 rupees per kg. So, here you can understand what is the difference between the price of both the items, and then which means value is added at each stage from fiber to garment. If we improve our weaving sector and start exporting garments or fabric, we will be able to earn a huge amount of foreign exchange. So, our profit margin will increase to great lengths. So, how can we do that? How can we have a better improved quality of our weaving sector? Because by meeting all these challenges, our power supply is erratic, which means that if the power is supplied continuously to these factories, we can handle this situation. The machineries in weaving and knitting industry needs to be upgraded. So, we need to upgrade those machines to have a better quality cloth. We need to see that the labor which is working, their output is high. These days the labor is working for very less hours, and the hours that they are working, that also they work very slowly. So, we need to see that the labor is paid better and they should be evaluated, their work should be evaluated according to their output. Stiff competition from synthetic fiber industry. This is a challenge, that the synthetic fibers, people like synthetic fiber more because we don't need to iron them, they are easy to wash. if any stain is there, easy to remove those stains. So people prefer synthetic cloths more than the cotton cloth. So that is a competition that we have to face. Increase in the production of good quality long staple cotton. Okay, we are already producing a large quantity of good quality cotton, but even then we need to import, because that is also short for us, and therefore we need to increase the good quality long staple cotton growth. This is to be done by the farmers while doing agriculture. Now let us discuss about the map work which is there in your syllabus regarding the cotton textile industries. Here you can be asked for these 7 places which are important regarding the cotton textile industries in India. So look at the location: Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh towards the southern part of Uttar Pradesh. Then you have Ahmedabad, which is towards the central and towards the northern part of Gujarat, and Surat is towards the southwestern part of Gujarat. Then Indore is again towards the southwestern part of Madhya Pradesh. Mumbai, you all know, towards the coastal area of Maharashtra towards its northern part. Coimbatore towards the Kerala and Tamil Nadu border towards north, and Madurai towards the south of Tamil Nadu towards the coastal area. So these 7 map pointing are very important. You get thorough with these map pointings so that you don't lose any marks in your exams. Hope you get benefited by all the things that have been spoken in this video, which has been dealing with cotton textile industry. Do like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching, children. Do get full marks in geography. Thank you.